Ron Harris here from MuscularDevelopment.com with Giles Tiger Thomas. We just wrapped up the first segment of the judging for the Olympia weekend. So this morning we looked at judging for fitness, bikini, figure, and classic physique Olympia. Long morning. We just got done at about 2 o'clock. It took about 4 hours. But fitness came first, but we really can't say a lot about fitness because all they did was the two-piece swimsuit. So we haven't seen anybody's routines yet. Physique-wise, did anybody really stand out to you for fitness?
Whitney Jones looked good.
Yeah, she did. She certainly did. So bikini would be the next thing that we could logically make some assumptions based on. Great field, biggest field of the weekend, I believe. 32 women. Top three from the call-outs looked like reigning champ Angelica Teixeira,
yep.
Laura Lee Chapados from Canada, and Ashley Kaltwasser, who has won this either 3 or 4 times. My memory's a little foggy, always is. But wow, they all looked phenomenal.
Yeah, I thought Ashley looked really good. I've said before, I'm not a huge fan of bikini, especially the way that the division's gone. Yeah. I think they've gone very smaller and a bit thinner than I'd like, maybe from how they looked 5 or 6 years ago. Yeah. But for me, Ashley stood out. Angelica looked very, very good. She was very lean. Yeah, she's got a nice amount of muscle, a nice amount of condition. I kind of see it as between. I told Janet Lairg looked very good as well.
Yes.
She's. I used to think she was too thin, but she's actually put a little bit of muscle size, body weight, whatever you want to call it.
Hold on.
Okay. And I do think, because she looked really good, Janet Lairg. Yeah, I think that's kind of the top 4 anyway.
Yeah.
So
obviously the division we're paying the most attention to today, classic physique. A lot of interest in this new division. This is only the 3rd year that they've had it at the Olympia, and it just gets crazier with the quality. Every year there's breakout stars. This year was no exception.
Are we going for figure?
Oh, did we forget figure? I'm sorry. Well, let's briefly mention figure. Yep. The two favorites going into the show are definitely the ones it's going to come down to. Candice Lewis-Carter and Sydney Gillen. Just both of them are spectacular. They look like the trophies that they give out for figure. Yeah. You know, the capped weight, capped shoulders, tiny little waist, flaring quads. I don't think I could pick a winner. Could you be able to?
No, it was the same as last year. Last year I said it was Sydney. Latoya, who was the 2016's Olympia winner, Latoya Watts, but she pulled out. I don't know why she pulled out several weeks ago, but it was exactly as I thought it would be, as it was last year. Candies versus Sydney. Now, I love Candice's look, but for me, Sydney's she's perfect figure. She is what I consider to be perfect figure Olympia champion. I think she looked absolutely beautiful today. A beautiful combination of muscle, femininity, she's just perfection in my eyes, you know. Yeah. But Candice is going to push her. I mean, Candice has beat her. I think Candice has beat her at the Arnold Classic. What didn't she? They swapped this year. So yeah, it's those two and then everybody else.
I mean, they're so close to the ideal for what figure is supposed to be all about. I would not want to have to pick between them. You know, it's really a coin toss. They're both phenomenal. Okay, now we got to get back to classic, where I was preemptively talking about a minute ago. So first we'll talk about the top 4 based on what the judges were doing with the call-outs. Top 4 definitely came down to, as we expected. We knew it was going to be Breon Ansley, the reigning champion, and Chris Bumstead, last year's runner-up. We knew those two were going to be in the battle, and indeed those were the first 2 taken out of the first 2 call-out, which is always a pretty clear indication that that's your top 2. That first call-out also included Henri-Pierre Arnaud from Montreal, Canada. Giles, that's your pick to win the whole show?
He looked absolutely phenomenal. I mean, I saw him at Tampa last year when he was an open. And then when I heard he jumped to classic, I just thought, no, he's too big. He's going to have to lose too much size, and he's just going to look like stringy up there. But when he walked out, I mean, it doesn't look any smaller to me. He just looks more conditioned. But at the start, Breon and Chris, when they first came out, they weren't impressing me. I thought they both I thought Breon was sharper last year, but Breon did this at the Arnold Classic. He came out really, really flat at the prejudging. And then at the night show, to me, was a clear winner. Yeah. But he's done it. I think he's going to do it again this year. But this year, it's more of a film of water. Yeah. But saying that, Chris and Brion really pulled ahead once they started posing.
Right.
I mean, at the start, I just thought, oh my God, Henry has got this by quite a margin. Yeah. So, but then obviously Chris and Brion were just improving, filling out, looking harder, and then everything was just popping. Yeah. But. Yeah, Henry, I've got a feeling they're going to put him third. Yeah. Personally, I've got no argument with him winning. I mean, he looks absolutely sensational. He is classic. His back shots are absolutely incredible. Yeah. But yeah, that's who I've got top 3.
Okay. And I mean, I was looking for the improvements in Bumstead. His arms are definitely a little better. His back is definitely a little better. I want to see more back on Chris. More back on Chris, and I think he's got this division, the Olympia title. I was talking to Chris last night at the Classic and the 212 weigh-in, and because he had the moustache. Yes. And I said, you've got to keep the moustache, Chris. And he says, oh no, I've spoke to some key people in the industry, influential people. He said they said shave it off. Yeah. So I said, well, I quite like it. But it was funny because I said, how have you improved this year? And he said, well, this year I've got more muscle maturity that I didn't have last year. I said, Chris, you're 23, mate. I said, how can you have muscle maturity at 23? But he did. He looked phenomenal. I don't think he's going to win today, though. Yeah. So also in that group, we had George Peterson, who was 3rd place last year. George looks great. Again, we have that argument. Is he a bodybuilder or is he classic? I don't know. He's got a great physique. I do see Henri pushing him down a spot. I believe Henri's probably going to end up 3rd. Yeah. George is probably going to end up 4th. We're not going to know until the finals tomorrow night. It's tomorrow night, yeah? Yeah. Yeah, but that's the way I see it. If you're looking at 5th and 6th, I'm going to look at Arash Rabar. Probably. I thought Arash looked better with the Arnold. Sorry, Arash. I thought he was a little tighter. He did look fuller today, but that crispness, I thought he looked better with the Arnold. It's just what I saw. He looked bigger at the Arnold's. Looked bigger. Having said that, he did look bigger at the Arnold, but he looked more balanced this year. For this Olympia, he looked more balanced than he did at the Arnold. I thought the Arnold, he was very top-heavy, like his delts were very big, very thick. And it really kind of, there was a bit of a difference between top and bottom. But this Olympia, I definitely think he's more balanced. Yeah. Okay. We also had Canada's Regan Grimes, who's only in his 2nd classic physique show ever. Regan had dropped down. I hate saying dropped down because it sounds like they're like, switched. He switched to classic. Well, he dropped down in weight, about 20 pounds to become a classic physique pro, won the New York Pro, which qualified him for the Olympia. And I thought he definitely looked better today than he did at the New York Pro. New York Pro, he had done like a crash diet, dehydrated to drop down 20, 25 pounds in something like 48 hours to go from open to classic, whereas he didn't have to do that. He took his time this year, and he definitely looked less depleted, over dieted than he did there. But he's got a great physique, but I think he's going to end up somewhere around the 5th or 6th spot. Yeah, I've got him in 5th. I'm actually a little disappointed with Regan. In the photos leading up, even the photos, he put a black and white photo as a floor pose. Yeah. He looked harder. I don't know whether it was just the photos or whether he'd overcarbed and spilled. But having said that, though, he could pull it round for the night show. But still, I think 5th place is the best he can hope for. Yeah. I actually thought, when I saw the pictures in the lead up in the last few days, I thought Regan could potentially win this. I thought he was going to blow Bumstead away. Yeah. But he's got a beautiful physique. He's very balanced. He's doing the vacuum, but his tan looked messy, and he just, especially his legs, there was a lot of blurriness in his legs, which he could take off for the night show, and I hope he does, but just so he does have a good showing. But I think 5th place is the best he can hope for. I just want to say, because a lot of times we see these guys at the show, and we've been following their Instagram pictures and all this for the week or two leading up to it, and we often get disappointed when we see them on stage. But one thing to really take into consideration is these pictures, people find the absolute best light in the corner of the gym or a certain room in their house at a certain time of day. And I'm not saying they're trying to fool anybody, but if you find anybody who's a bodybuilder or a physique competitor of any kind, you try to find very complimentary light to take your progress pics in. And then you see them at the show, and stage lighting can be very merciless. It's very direct. It's not favorable to anybody, really. So I don't think it's so much that someone like Regan, just to throw that out there, his hamstrings look like steel cables. It was crazy. And then when I saw him on stage, they look blurry compared to that. but I think it's just a matter of lighting. I don't think he lost condition or, you know, spilled over with water. That's just the case. Just had to throw that out there because I know a lot of guys get very disappointed when they see the contest pictures or videos. A couple other guys I definitely want to mention. Wesley Visser from Netherlands. Just turned pro earlier this year. You saw it happen. He's another young kid. He's like 24 years old. Not there yet. He's going to be great. I see so much greatness in that kid. He still needs to figure out conditioning and peaking right on the day of the show, color, just little things like that. He's getting there. He's so close already.
Yeah, his tan was a lot better. I think it's just simple muscle maturity, and I think I said in the play-by-play, I said with 10% more condition, he's a player. He is a top 5 contender. I mean, like I said, he's got everything. He's not missing anything. He is. I mean, he's so classic, it's crazy. I mean, he's coming on looking like Arnold, hitting the same pose as Arnold, and he wants to be Arnold. Yeah. So, you know, that's obviously going to go down well in the classic class. But yeah, Wesley, he's going to make top 10. He's going to do well. It's a fantastic first year. 6 months ago he was amateur. Right. To be here at the Olympia and people talking about you and second call out he was. He's probably going to get 6. I reckon 6 to 8th. Yeah. But you know, first Olympia, that's a good starting point, and people now know who he is. But I only see good things for Wesley in the future. But also, I'd like to talk about George Peterson.
Sure, go ahead.
I was very impressed. I was very harsh on George last year because, like I said, I see him as more of a 212 because I believe he's about 195, 200 pounds. Yeah. I'm really, really impressed with him. And like I said, I am kind of torn because is he really that classic? But in terms of conditioning and peaking, he peaked perfectly. And he said at the press conference about his back, and it's like something we've never seen. And he's kind of right because that back is phenomenal.
It is. It's something.
But yeah, in terms of physique, I cannot fault the guy. I think he's probably the best conditioned up there. I think. Yeah, I would say he's probably the best conditioned. So yeah, very impressed with George. A lot of love for George this year.
I mean, it was a great class. It was honorable mention has to go to some other guys. Terrence Ruffin looked great. You know, these are all people. Courage Opera, Divine Wilson, Steve Lorius, David Hoffman from Germany. Yeah, looks great. I mean, these are all. That just goes to show you the level of competition at a lesser show, a smaller show. Any of the guys we just talked about could have won, and most of them have won a show already, a pro show. But this is the Olympia. We put the best of the best. All these guys have won shows to qualify to be here, and only a few of them are going to be in that first call-out, just the way it goes. So just because somebody got second or even third call-out doesn't mean they're not great. These guys that all the way down to the last call-out, these guys were looking damn good today. So we're going to find out what happens with these guys tomorrow night and the rest of the competitors we just mentioned. Tonight we're going to see finals for most of those divisions, and we'll see actually classic finals are tonight, I think, too. Yeah. Yes. Okay. So we'll find out what happens, and we'll have the judging tonight for 212 and the Open Mr. Olympia. So stay tuned to musculardevelopment.com. Everything you need is here. All the video interviews, pictures, commentary. Stay right here. We got the coverage brought to you by High Tech Pharmaceuticals. So stay right here at MD, and we'll make sure it's everything you need. Thanks for watching.